up, you guys? It's Susie from HeyGrillHey.com, and I just realized something. I don't have a long format video teaching you guys how to make my super viral Dr. Pepper Jalapeno Beef Jerky. This is one of the recipes that put Hey Grill Hey on the map. I'm going to show you how to make it in your own backyard. Let's do it! To kick off this recipe, we need to make our Dr. Pepper Jalapeno Marinade. It's super simple, not a lot of ingredients. We're just gonna combine everything in a pan, bring it up to a boil, let it reduce for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then get it over our beef. Here's what's in the marinade. We start with 2 cups of Dr. Pepper. Yes, you can use cherry Dr. Pepper. Yes, you can use diet Dr. Pepper. I like the classic, that's what I've gone with. But people have used pretty much every kind of Dr. Pepper out there. People have even used Coke and root beer. You can really play with the flavor profiles here with the type of soda you use. To our Dr. Pepper, we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of coarse ground kosher salt. That's fun. 2 teaspoons of coarse black pepper. A teaspoon of onion powder. A teaspoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then 2 sliced jalapenos. This is going to give you a medium heat level with a good jalapeno flavor. If you want it to be a little bit spicier and have a stronger punch of jalapenos, you can actually dice the jalapenos up really fine, or after we're done simmering, you can puree the whole marinade and that'll give you a stronger punch of that jalapeno flavor. If you really want to kick up the heat, add in some habaneros or a ghost pepper. You can really kick up the spice level. And if you want it to pull super sweet, at this point you could add in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I like it just the way that it is though. It's the perfect balance of sweet and heat. So like I said, get this over medium-high heat. Bring it up to a simmer, reduce the heat to medium-low, and allow this to simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes. This step is very important. Please do not skip the reducing step. The Dr. Pepper on its own has so much water in it, it's not going to give you a really rich sweetness unless you cook that water off. And it's going to concentrate all those flavors in the marinade, cook all the spices out of the jalapeno into the marinade. Reducing is very important. You want to end up with just about a cup of this marinade liquid after it has had time to reduce. While our jerky is reducing, let's talk about the meat that we're going to be using for this particular recipe. I have just about 2 pounds of beef here that has been sliced. I had my butcher slice it for me at the butcher counter. I told him I wanted it against the grain, and I wanted it cut to a 2 on their slicer settings, and that'll give you the perfect size for beef jerky. Now I'm using an eye of round roast for this jerky. Other great options for jerky would be a rump roast. I've also seen people use, a top round, sometimes called a London broil, slice that beautifully for jerky. What you really want is a lean roast. Typically when you're cooking steaks, I tell you the more fat marbling, the better. When it comes to jerky, the opposite is true. You want as little intramuscular fat as possible. It's going to give you the best outcome with your end jerky product. So go lean when you're picking a roast for jerky. See how nice and thin those are? Beautiful. Our marinade is reducing. We've been in here for about 10 minutes and it's starting to tighten up a little bit. I did want to give you guys a quick note about boiling jalapenos or other peppers. You're essentially making pepper spray in your kitchen. It can be a little bit strong, so make sure if you're doing it inside, crack some windows, turn on the vents above your stove. It'll help relieve some of the craziness of boiling jalapenos, or if you can, do it outside, because then you don't have to worry about it. Marinade has reduced. I'm going to check it and pour it back into my measuring cup just to make sure it's right around that 1 cup mark. Perfect. Like 1 1/4. It's right where I want it to be. So now we just gotta let this marinade cool down before we pour it over our sliced beef. Otherwise we're gonna poach the meat instead of marinate it. And then it's gonna go into the fridge at least 8 hours. I like to leave it overnight and then smoke it the next day. You can even push the marinade up to 24 hours and it will be absolutely delicious. For some real magic of TV stuff. This is the one I just made. It's gonna go in the fridge for 8 hours. 8 hours later, ta-da! This is actually one that I marinated last night. So we have a marinated bag of jerky. This one has been in for just about 12 hours. It smells fantastic. Now it's time for next steps, and you have a couple of options here. Now, one of the options is to pull out each individual piece of meat and dry it off. That means pat it dry on both sides. I usually do this on a paper towel. That will help the cooking process go a little bit more smoothly, and you don't have to go through and individually pull off each seed and, you know, extra piece of jalapeno. Or you can just shake that off in the bag, get it directly on the grill grates and let it start smoking. If you pat it dry, your jerky will cook quite a bit faster because it doesn't have to evaporate the liquid on the outside. If you go straight from the marinade, plan on it taking an extra 30 minutes to an hour to actually smoke your jerky all the way through. So both work, paper towel or not. It's just something to keep in mind based on, you know, the flavors that you like and the amount of time that you have. I've got my smoker preheated to 165 degrees. You want that nice low temperature with the smoke so that it can actually dehydrate the jerky as it picks up all the smoke flavor. I'm just gonna lay it directly on the grates of the grill. None of these are overlapping or touching each other so that that smoke can get all the way around. That is about one more piece. About it. Get this guy on there. Oh, it just fit. Okay, close the lid and we're gonna let this smoke for about 2.5 to 3 hours at 165 degrees. I'm gonna come out and check this in about an hour and a half. I wanna be able to move the jerky around to avoid any hot spots on the grill, give it a quick flip, and check on how it's doing. Now, I'm doing this on my smoker because it gives me the perfect temperature. I love the smoke flavor, but you can do this in a dehydrator or in your oven. If you're doing it in your oven, set the temperature really, really low, put the jerky on racks, and then leave a crack in your oven door so that the moisture can escape. If you're doing it in a dehydrator, just follow the manufacturer's instructions on your dehydrator for jerky, and you should be good to go. All right, our jerky's been on for about an hour and a half. I'm gonna give it a flip and move it around because I know that there are some hot spots on my smoker, especially around the edges, so I wanna rotate those pieces into the middle pieces to the outside so that it all cooks the same. Happy with the progress on these. I'm gonna let them go for about another hour before I check them again. We should be close to done by then. We're about 3 hours into our Dr. Pepper Jalapeno Beef Jerky cook, and it is ready to come off the smoker. I wanna show you guys what to look for when your jerky is done so that you don't have to guess. Jerky is not like reading the temperature on a steak where you just stick a thermometer in and you know when it's hit temp, but there are a few cues that you can look for so that you know it's ready to pull off and ready to eat, most importantly. So here's what you want to see. Come here. Come take a look up here. Come on. Come on. Do you see how much the jerky has shrunk? It's actually reduced in size. A lot of these jerky pieces were really close to touching it, filled the whole grill grates. Now you can see a lot of the grates exposed. The meat has shrunk. Also, the color has darkened. It's almost this reddish mahogany color. That means it's taken on quite a bit of smoke. And finally, what we're looking for here is texture. We want it to be able to bend our jerky without it breaking and crunching apart. That would mean it's overdone. But we want to be able to see it split along these seam lines and these little cracks of white showing through where it's splitting. That means that it's dry enough that we can just break it apart and it's cooked all the way through. Yeah, I have to eat one while it's warm. Okay, wait, you want some too? Okay. I love this stuff. I cannot ever get enough, and I've never gotten sick of it. So, our warm jerky is going straight from our grates here into a zip top gallon bag. What's gonna happen is this warm jerky is going to create a little bit of steam inside the bag. It's gonna redistribute the moisture throughout the jerky itself from that steam. So it's very tender, very delicious. And I like to let this steam at room temperature for about 2 hours until it cools off all the way. And then you can store this in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. And I have to tell you, it is awesome when it cools down, but it's even better when it's warm, right off the smoker. And that is a perk that you just can't get with store-bought jerky. When you're making it at home, you can sample it as it's cooking. You can, you have to test it a couple times to make sure it's close to being done. And usually by the time I'm done with a batch of jerky, I've already had 3 or 4 pieces. Just, quality assurance and stuff. I know a bunch of you have already tried this recipe. I hope watching a long format video really helps you understand the process and makes you feel like you can knock out homemade jerky in your own backyard so you can feed the people you love and become a backyard barbecue hero. When you make this jerky recipe, snap a photo, post it online, use the hashtag HeyGrillHey. That way I can see it. Also, head to the website and leave a review. If you liked it, give us a rating, leave a review, because then other people can see it and, know how awesomely amazing it is. Because honestly, you can only take my word for it so many times, right? Okay, well, I'm gonna eat this. We'll catch you guys next time.